What's up, y'all? It's Joe Masterly. Oh boy, I have never seen such a controversial viewer reaction to my reaction to a, of all things, Call of Duty trailer. That initial Call of Duty trailer, which was teasing the game coming along, didn't even include any gameplay. The whole trailer simply featured footage, real footage, of Yuri Bezmenov, a former KGB current defector to the West, who revealed all sorts of fascinating behind-the-scenes look at what Russia was doing to undermine American society and politics. And what I thought was fascinating was on two fronts. First was how accurate of a depiction he had about foretelling what was going to happen to American society. In essence, former Russia had set into motion decades of actions that would basically result in America being torn apart by its own ideologies. He talked about multiple stages of how former Russia was first attempting to demoralize American people and then to destabilize the country, resulting in essence, utter chaos. And what hit home for so many people was that we saw this happening to us right here, right now in American society. Now, the second most fascinating thing about this was the viewer response. Now, I have my own take and political beliefs here, and it isn't about me pushing my beliefs. It was fascinating to me how people were leaving comments from both the left and right side and was taking what Yuri here was saying and was using to justify why the other side was completely at fault and to blame. The right was blaming the leftist extremists, and then you have people on the left who was blaming everything on the right, including our government officials in office today, of in essence destroying American society. And while I really got caught up in this whole heated scenario, trying to justify my viewpoint, when I took a step back, I ended up realizing that this was exactly the kind of thing that some foreign agent would relish. In essence, we are now so caught up in fighting ourselves, American people pitted against each other, that we can't even see straight anymore, that we have been already undermined. In fact, this was one of the key steps that Yuri had talked about in an interview that I included in a link in my previous Call of Duty reaction, where he said that demoralization isn't about like how you feel demoralized, but rather that you feel demoralized by what was being told to you, whether it's the government officials, whether it's the media. The point is you don't trust it to the point where you develop your own beliefs. Your own beliefs are so entrenched that no matter what facts come your way at this point, no matter how the truth reveals itself, you still can't believe it and you hold on to your beliefs to the point where it is highly irrational. And in fact, Yuri goes as far as to say, like, at that point, it's already too late. And now what we have here is America split in half, both sides so entrenched of seeing their problems, blaming the other side that they don't even care how the rest of the world is in essence taking advantage of us. Very fascinating. Now this isn't a political channel here, and we are still talking about Call of Duty, but I wanted to share that in this video because it was such a ridiculously controversial outcry from gamers. You really have to wake up today. What I mean by waking up, I'm not talking about like buying more into conspiracy theories. I'm talking about being resolute and trying to get to the truth and ultimately what brings us together. Just check out this trailer because this trailer has set itself up to be, let's just say there's a lot of expectations given the last Call of Duty trailer. Let's just check it out here because at this point, I haven't played a Call of Duty game in a good number of years at this point, particularly because I like single player campaigns. And for me, when it comes to single player, the storyline matters a lot. And I have not played a great single player campaign Call of Duty game, well, ever since Modern Warfare, the original Modern Warfare. You talk about a storyline that left you with such strong and powerful emotions that you were just shocked by the outcome of what had happened. Now, it'd be interesting to see if this game does the same thing. All right, y'all, let's check this out. And away we go. Wow, footage looks PlayStation 5 footage.
Years of blood, just to light the fuse of a secret war, decades in the making.
You know, every time they break out war during this time of American history, they always break out the same music. The 60s, man.
My fellow Americans, a nuclear conflict could well be mankind's last. We want to make this a more peaceful world.
5 days ago,
Damn.
we acquired intel. Soviet agent Perseus is in play. If he's active,
Perseus, I believe, is a real person, by the way.
something that could shift the balance of the Cold War.
So this looks like it could be based on some real facts, real bit of history here. All right, you gotta admit, the one thing Call of Duty does better than any other game is put out trailers where the music is synced so amazingly well with the action. Holy moly.
Threat real? Yes, sir, we believe it is.
Give Mr. Adler whatever he wants.
What? Do you have to get the rights to be able to put a former president in a game? Because I don't think this is considered a parody. I think that is flat out Reagan right there.
This one's part of the plan!
I know you won't fail us.
Holy moly. That looks intense. That Reagan is a little... I don't know.
Including war zones.
It's really strange because it's the... What is this? What is this? September 9. Okay. Well, like I said, I'm really more interested in the single player mission here than anything else. Yeah, that Reagan, it's funny because despite the graphical prowess of these next generation systems and the ability to render facial expressions to a point where they look just hyper realistic. Quite frankly, I think a PlayStation 4 can already pull off that kind of fidelity as long as, the polygons and the facial mesh and the textures and everything are all kind of focused on the face rather than the whole body. But the thing is that the human mind basically treats the human face as something where, you have to nail it 100%. Otherwise, there's this sort of disconnect between what you see and what you actually think it should look like. The uncanny valley is really, really wide. And so for something like this, where you see Reagan's face, it still looks a little bit off, almost a little bit plasticky, even though you could see the pores and it's just really, really sharp. It looks like it's 4K support as well. My suggestion in these kind of scenarios is that rather than try to make it look as realistic as possible, still stick to an art style that is stylized, right? In other words, we know it's human, but use a color palette, use a way of texturing and coloring and lighting so that it feels more like an animated scenario than an actual depiction of human beings. Even exaggerating facial features in a way that makes you go like, all right, no, they're not actually trying to copy human complexion 100%, because if you don't nail it 100%, it can look a little bit off. That being said, the storyline is interesting, but this feels more like a teaser than even the teaser, because what it looks like is something happened in the 60s, fast forward a couple decades, we're on the brink of nuclear war, all of which is, real world history. Stuff like this had happened, and it culminated in some pretty scary stuff where we almost were, all humanity was wiped out because of trigger-happy political parties here from different nations. And this is definitely not gameplay footage, although this does look like in-game footage. Oh, I don't know. It could be actual gameplay footage as well, considering that the next-gen console should be able to, pull it off. So we'll see. Really interesting. I hope we all can at least appreciate that this is just a game. I know political tensions are really high. It's election year at this point. Yeah, it's really scary the amount of trolling and ugliness that is surfacing in the comments that I've seen. And actually, what I really noticed, and this is fascinating, is the number of bot-like behavior that was attempting to instill like a certain point of view and really kind of provoke the other side. And I know it's bot-like behavior because, well, I've designed a lot of social platforms like this and commenting systems. So I kind of started to have a keen eye and be able to detect what looks like a bot-based system. And yeah, comment botting is a real problem right now on YouTube, and you can be sure that propaganda is being pushed around because of it. So You know, if people are saying, you know, they really want to get to the heart of the truth is that it can be hard to get to the heart of it these days, just because what is pushed to the news is fundamentally sometimes really different than what's pushed through social media. And a lot of people still treat social media as part of the news, like, overall effort, when really you get a lot of disinformation pushed out this way. That got heavy quick. Okay.